A very good morning to you. It is the 17th day of April 2026. Tunafurahia sana kukuona asubuhi ya leo. This is TV47 Breakfast. My name is Ann Odida. Karibu sana.
Na kama bado haujafurahia kutuona, please begin right now because we have lots lined up for you. Great conversations, great music because it's Furahi Day, like Odida says, and therefore we must usher in the weekend in style. Karibu sana. My name is Linda Alela and this is TV47 Breakfast.
All right, and of course the weekend Bansi Kimuyu will also be joining us later on the show alongside DJ Blue. Watakuwa hapa na very great artists. Unakumbuka tuna push Kenyan music. There's a report that said right now Kenyans are listening to a lot of Kenyan music.
Which is a good thing.
It is actually. So it's on the rise. Unajua kitami kwanza, unajua I don't know Kenyan music.
But you see, the thing is, sing good music. We will listen to you. That's what they used to say. So I don't know whether Kenyan music was that bad or what.
It was. Because sasa it was enyewe. Utaka chini ukijaribu kuimba.
You know.
Kuna vitu unaimba lakini
yenye naijua.
Wacha tu nisiimbe sababu hata sijui. So even Bansi will be here atakwambia huyu kwanza mimi najua pia umeuma nje. Ama
ukweli in all honesty siwezi imba a higher percentage than what I could sing, for instance like bongo, international music and everything. So that means they up their game.
Na watupangie concert ya bongo kama millennials sisi, manake sasa sisi hiyo ndo tunajua. Sasa sasa tukianza kuimba gengeton, you know a lot of millennials relate so much to bongo.
But I hata from bongo zile za kitambo zile za
sasa
hello
ma na niona hiyo kila time nakuona nawaza
at least we can relate, you know.
Hizo ndo sasa zile ngoma ambazo sisi tuna relate nayo, lakini tukileta hizi sijui unakumbuka kuku kapa na baiskeli bata kavara
izoni Mr. Nice Day
na
you know on the waist and all that. Oh, it was a good time.
It was
you know evergreen music. Hata ikichezwa saa hii you feel the vibe.
Yes, sasa hivi unasikia ni kama uko nostalgic kidogo, unataka kurudi back. Hata nikiongea najaribu kuimagine the now music that maybe I could just relate to.
You know, and I'm actually saying, like you rightfully say, aside from bongo then, even the local music was as good. You know, give it to Akina Nameless,
yes,
to Akina Red Sun.
Yes, Sweet Love.
Akina, you know, Sweet Love, that was Wahoo, right? And there was some good music back then. Please, msikuje mtu trendishe mseme ati tumesema
we're just saying the truth.
BAMB.
Sasa hivi we're trying to catch up. Manake good stuff are also coming in. Nyashinski wanafanya good thing, kuna Kodong Clan na wasikia pale. Yani but sasa kukaa chini ati ni think top of my mind, hapo sasa ndo kunakuwa na
kizungumkuti. So let them up their game.
Sindio? DJs pale pia wafanye kazi yao, watusaidie kupromote Kenyan music vile inafaa. Ati hakuna DJ.
Hakuna cha DJ,
kuna chama ambayo
kwa ile muziki mzuri DJ atacheza. That's the point. Na msianze kutucomplainia hapa ati we don't play your music. We want to play your music, but it better, you know, just resonate with the people. That's the point.
Absolutely. Si ndio? At least ikuwe something that hata mzazi akiwa kule nyumbani anaweza taka kukaa chini.
That's true.
Asikie na haelewe ni nini ambayo message gani ambayo unajaribu kupass. So we'll be having artists here. Bansi will be hosting artists later on the show. Watuambie ni nini wanafanya differently to make Kenyan music enjoyable for Kenyans. Story ni yetu, at least kama watatuwekea kuku kapanda baiskeli leo venye director Inonda anasema ni kama that is his favorite song, manake ametuambia sana.
Wa invite Mr. Nice kwa set. Watu waimbe tu, si ako hapa sijui nasikia naishingi huku Mombasa Road. Ako tu around.
We bana, Mr. Nice, if you're watching, we are inviting you to
please special request.
Special request. Next Friday at least grace our studios, utupatie mix noma. Take back in time, right? Today is World Hemophilia Day. It says that for some amesema Makmuga.
Director unajua tukuonea.
Napenda sana Makmuga.
But that was a sad thing. You know, when you listen to the story of Makmuga, it's not even
it's not a laughing matter, right?
Tuangalie magazeti.
Alikunywa pombe alafu alikuwa mlevi.
Alikuwa Makmuga, sijui akaenda mahali kwenda kusini mwa Afrika. Sijui what. It was interesting a song. And I used to sing it, you know, word to word. That I think nimesahau.
Funny enough, nimesikiza last week kama 3 days ago.
Oh, I can't remember the last time I had that, but
I've forgotten. Lakini
Nice.
tukiendelea na show, tutakumbuka and then we'll come back and hum on that song, right? I was saying today is World Hemophilia Day, the 17th day of April. And they say for some 400 people, simple pepper cuts, nicks and scrapes can actually be dangerous or even life-threatening due to a blood disorder known as hemophilia. So hemophilia is a blood disorder. Today the world is marking Hemophilia Day. Interact with us on our socials. TV47 Kenya on Facebook, on YouTube at Matukio Halisi, on X at TV47 Digital. You can tag us. My handle is at Ann_Dida.
Linda_Lela.
The hashtag to use is TV47 Breakfast, hashtag story ni yetu. Let's take a look at the state of the weather.
Right.
All right, Meru is looking not so good this morning. It's a chilly day, 13 degrees this morning. It's likely to rain in Meru, 21 degrees are the highs expected there today. Kericho also, it's likely to rain. Highs of 26 degrees today. This morning is 18 degrees, not bad. Kisii, scattered thunderstorms, so it's going to rain heavily in Kisii County today. This morning is 16 degrees, highs of 27 degrees. Nairobi, light rains expected today. Yesterday it actually rained, so today is also going to rain. This morning is 15 degrees, highs of 23 degrees, so it's a cold day in Nairobi. Wajir, it's a partly sunny day today. This morning is 24 degrees, highs of 34 degrees expected in Wajir County today. In Kajiado, it's raining. This morning is 16 degrees, highs of 24 degrees expected in Kajiado County today. And that's the state of the weather.
And what's your favorite quote? I want to give you mine so that you see whether you can change your mind to 8. Quote of the day.
Bring your A game always, not just sometimes. Showing up fully every time guarantees growth, trust, and security in your role.
A game always. Bring it on. Bring it on. You have consistency. When you bring it tops, you definitely are going to get things right, whatever it is that you do.
Someone is always watching.
You know, and something will always happen. So the dailies today, I have the Daily Nation, and yes, perhaps I'll give you what is on the front page. Ruto walks a tight rope. Why is it so? Suddenly because of the conversation around the sharp rise in fuel prices that is due to Iran war that presents a fresh headache for him. Quite a delicate balance, I think we have kept on saying. Even as he tries to cushion the nation, there seems to be this general feel that the government is not doing enough. You have seen the parliament being compelled, I want to say compelled because perhaps this is something that wasn't expected, for them to go there, you know, debate within a record 1 hour, 30 minutes, and then they ascend the VAT bill, that is 2026, to ensure that the adjustments that were made are approved. That is from, you know, 18%, from 16%, sorry, going to 13% and now to 8% fuel levy. So 13 billion projected revenue. The government will forego over 3 months, that is, after reducing VAT on fuel from 16% to 8% to cushion Kenyans from the high pump prices. Of course, we continue to see public anger. Based on that, we see the growth decline. That is, World Bank cuts Kenya's economic growth projection from 4.9% to 4.4%. We have also seen a bit of crisis in the trade sector where there's disruption of imports, fuel, as well as fertilizer and many other things. And suddenly inflation, CBK forecasts inflation to hit 6.2% in July, eroding Kenya's buying power. This is a story that is captured on page 4, 5, and 6. There's going to be a ripple effect on the economy when you look at what is happening. A bit of politics that has been captured here. on the front page and extensively on page 7. ODM suspends 2027 coalition talks with UDA. This is quite interesting, a conversation that we'll be having with the youth who are representatives from the different parties. And they say highly charged meeting by the Orange Democratic Movement top decries or decision-making organ has suspended a coalition talks with President William Ruto's United Democratic Alliance. This is interesting. Is it what it is that Baba said at some point in time towards the last days of his life? And does it mean that it's going to be the end of the game, or what exactly is going to happen? There's also a general feel that, they keep on getting jabs from the UDA counterparts, which is something that doesn't make them happy. Well, that aside, we take a look at Squawkers Award. A Catholic bishop decried misrule goon culture in harsh verdict. This is also a conversation that we've constantly had for the better part of the week, captured on page 7 of the Daily Nation in relation to the cases of goonism in the country. And there's also in the education sector where TSC expands role of school principals. And in addition to their duty as administrators, well, the Teachers Service Commission has designated school heads chief curriculum or as chief curriculum implementers responsible for guiding teaching in their institutions to ensure success of the new education system. A story captured on page 10, which I think should have been the case from the word go. I'll pick the front page. What about you?
People Daily still talks about the fuel deal, inside G2G deal, now backfiring on Ruto. It has been captured on page 4 that a probe into the government-to-government framework found an alleged plot to fake a fuel shortage and justify costly imports outside the deal. Critics say the arrangement locks Kenya into high fuel prices than its landlocked neighbors, and that is Uganda. Time and time again, we've said that Uganda is dependent on Kenya when we're talking matters fuel, because they have reserves here in the country, here in our country, Kenya, but they do not have a crisis, a fuel crisis. But in Kenya, mambo ni mwichichi here. So things are doing badly.
Yeah.
Just to read, critics are arguing, of course, that the G2G deal has locked Kenya into a high-cost structure that makes its fuel more expensive than its, of course, landlocked neighbors, that's Uganda. And Kiharu Mpindi Dinyoro characterized the G2G deal as a scam, quote unquote, and a profit-sharing machine for powerful individuals. He cited that the structure was engineered to benefit politically connected business tycoons by locking high premiums that do not reflect falling global oil prices. It's important to note that the G2G fuel deal was crafted in early 2023. It was an emergency measure to stabilize a rapidly depreciating Kenyan shilling at that time, and it was meant to address a severe shortage of the US dollar that was being experienced at that time. And of course, by this, the government entered into this deal by 3 companies. That was Saudi Aramco, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, and there was also Emirates National Oil Company, which was selected by, of course, the government to import oil to Kenya and to just caution Kenyans from such crises, which, of course, we are now witnessing. I wonder if this is actually a crisis or if oil dealers were just hoarding fuel to create a crisis that does not exist. So I'm very hesitant on saying this is a crisis, because I want them to explain to me, like a 6-year-old, how we're having a crisis when the government in itself, the energy sector, had assured Kenyans that we had enough oil that in the country, So why really? And shooting up the oil prices to 206, and then Kenyans complaining, and then it's now being reduced by 10 shillings and 9 shillings respectively. Then I don't know.
And the reduction has not helped in any way. I remember listening to Matatu, drivers, the association saying that we're not going to adjust the prices downwards. Vile tulipandisha, that is it. Because I mean, it's like ping pong, it's like games here and there. We do not want to say that, of course, the government has erred, because we also do not, overlook what is happening in the global space. But there has to be some balance. And, this balance goes local. We might not worry much about what's happening across, even though that is what dictates the prices. But it has to be local in a way.
It has to be local. And that is why there's questions here. The G2G deal, is it really working? And that is what the People Daily is talking about this morning. As they put it, inside the G2G deal now backfiring on Ruto. It might actually backfire. Because if inamfaa isaidie watu.
This is the time.
SID. This
is the time for it to help.
Because yenyewe hiyo umesema hiyo story ya matatu drivers wanasema they're not going to bring down fare prices.
The prices, yeah.
They're saying that 10 shillings aina any difference. And really 10 shillings is very little money.
You know?
Bado iko 30.
It's still at, you know, a record high, yeah.
So that's the main story in the front page of the People Daily this morning. They're also talking about what's happening in ODM. The unmaking of ODM betrayed by a partner and broke within. What's currently happening between UDA and ODM. Ni kama kuna breakup inaendelea hapo.
Siasa ni mchezo mchafu. Perhaps a breakup that was anticipated.
Yes.
Sasa kina Linda Mwananchi, they must be laughing.
Ina Linda alela hapa.
Hapana, Linda Ground.
Linda
Ground is
right
worried that UDA is not keen
yes.
to make sure that they give them a deal that they would have expected. Like me, sasa it should not be about deals. Mimi hata nimechoka kusikia politicians that now all of a sudden it's not cooperation and making sure the country is at peace. It is now 50-50. Ng'ombe ikatwe mara mbili. Tuchukue hii pande, mchukue hiyo pande. What about the people?
Yes, what happens to the rest?
You know?
Because it's not only two people. It's not only ODM, it's not only UDA.
UDA,
There's DCP, there's
Kenyans.
Jubilee, there's, you know, Kenyans wako kila mahali.
Yeah.
So what happens to everybody else? And of course, today you're hosting the youth. Then where do they sit in this conversation?
And I am happy that the youth that I have on board actually are representatives. They are seated in these parties. You know, there's a representative from UDA. There's a youth who is within the youth, you know, docket of ODM and all that. So it's going to be very interesting to hear from them because you see, it's one thing to have one that understands the party activities. It's another one to have wale wengine ambao wako tu kando kando. Sijui kama umemaliza.
And that's the same story on the front page of the Star.
Yes, we demand respect. ODM threatens UDA. Okay, let me go with the Star. We demand respect. ODM threatens UDA after key meeting. That is a story captured on page 6. Central Committee temporarily suspends coalition talks with ruling party. It's going to be interesting to watch. And still on politics, Kalonzo Safaricom is Kenya's crown jewel and must be protected. I think this in reaction to these adjustments, you know, selling some shares to Vodacom. That is a story captured on page 9 of the Star. Yes, on the front page, the top strip, but on page 9. And Siasa fuel crisis, a wake-up call to relook at oil as a primary energy source, captured on page 10. I won't go to deep details of that because it's a story that we have talked about for the better part of the week. And then bishops warned bad governance will be our undoing, and especially when it comes to the conversations of political intolerance. They have highly spoken about this and saying that there needs to be something done, especially by the government, to ensure that this is a game of the past. The story captured on page 10 extensively. And then judiciary defies Ruto's e-citizen order, runs about 146 bank accounts. That is a story that is on the front page of the Star, expounded on page 4 and 5. They talk about judiciary is on the spot. That is for defying a directive by President William Ruto, a centralized revenue collection through the e-citizen platform. A new audit has revealed that it is instead operating 146 commercial banks accounts, even as millions lost through the theft remain uncovered and recovered. You know, there's a time I went to some campus, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Nikaenda kununua vitu hapo kwa cafeteria, kununua samosa na kadhalika. The payment was going to e-citizen. I was like, bro, that was KU. Okay, which is a good thing. Centralize it, but make sure that you have systems that are good enough so that hii pesa isiingie, then it goes to process of, you know, to corruption and all that. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how the president is going to react to this order. Another story that is also captured there on page 2, how Uhuru and Gachagua rivalry could hand Ruto victory in Ol-Kalou. Interesting. A looming political contest in Ol-Kalou is shaping into more than a routine by-election that is instead of the Mount Kenya region that could ultimately favor President Ruto. Now, the vacancy occasioned by the death of the Member of Parliament, David Kiaraho, has drawn immediate interest from rival political camps, with Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party and Rigathis Democracy for the Citizens Party both signaling intentions to field candidates. Hapa ndio maneno inakuanga tight, mnaambiwa you have got to shelve your interest if we have to survive, otherwise you give another one a through pass. Next paper.
All right, just headlines now on the front page of Taifa Leo. They still talk about ODM. Yawaka yashambulia mshirika UDA. So the main story, but they say the chama cha chungwa chaandaa kikao cha dharura kujadili mienendo ya chama tawala. The main story here, maaskofu wanasema Kenya haiko sawa, watoa tahadhari kwa serikali kuwa iwapo hatua mwafaka hazitachukuliwa basi huenda hali ya kisiasa na kiuchumi na vile vile kijamii ikawa mbaya zaidi, hasa kwa msingi wa gharama ya juu ya maisha, uhuni wa kisiasa na vile vile usimamizi mbaya wa sekta za elimu na afya. That's the main story in the front page of Taifa Leo. You can take a look at it on page 2, and that's Taifa Leo.
I think more or less the same stories. The Standards that always comes with one big story. Oh, this is sad. 3 billion sugar scam. A revelation of about 3 billion shipment of industrial sugar meant for factories has slipped into the country's food chain, quietly repackaged and sold for household use by Mombasa Sugar Refinery as well as Kibos Sugar Company. This is what it says. The documents show the sugar was imported as industrial raw material, then diverted and bagged for domestic sale, raising concerns over public health risks and lost tax revenue. That is a story that is extensively captured on page 4 and 5 of the Standard newspaper. Should we get worried of what sugar we are using in the kitchen? I'm sure this is a conversation that is going to be enough. Interesting story also is that, well, parents will certainly face higher school fees and transport costs amid fuel price hikes. Those are ramifications of the same. And also an interesting one on page 2, recovery of Mikatilili photo revives history of iconic women's heroics. The black and white photo said to have been returned, that is from the University in the UK, is one that is going to transform history, even as the Malindi District Cultural Association says this photo is going to be friendly in terms of making sure that our culture is strengthened. Odida.
Business Daily, finally, KRA flagged for illegal waivers on 4.7 billion shillings tax. Audit by the Auditor General, Nancy Gathungu, finds taxmen breached amnesty rules and 290 million shillings lost in irregular waivers. We're talking about 4,677 is the number of taxpayers found to have benefited from this scheme without having a repayment plan. Of course, that story about Catholic bishops also addressing what is currently happening in the country has also been given prominence on the front page. Catholic bishops decry growing culture of violence. And that's it. Business Daily this morning. All
right, and we cross over to the region where we take a look at what's happening in Uganda. We have the new vision. Yes, we have the new vision that speaks to the best, worst performing districts. As always, you will get to see some of these, districts being looked into in terms of how their leaders perform and how they are also managing as a district. That is a story captured on page 3. It will be interesting to see which one carries the day. But that aside, there also are interesting, very many stories. A pastor's wife killed in gang attack. That is a story captured on page 2 of the Daily Monitor. A sad occurrence, this one. And as well, page 4 and 5, tracing suspects' movements before arrest. That also as they get to tighten the ways of making sure that they have watertight cases, even as they present them to court or also before you get to arrest individuals. And also the other story, Uganda's security rooted in a people's army. This is basically what it is that Museveni says amidst, always concerns as to the security, always targeting, other politicians in the best interest of the reigning government of the day that is led by Museveni, who says now it is largely about the people's army and not definitely about the interest of politics. The Daily Monitor says bye USAID. Bye USAID. Interesting to watch that, they say proposal, a new initiative by the U.S. President Donald Trump administration seeks to make several changes. That is in the United Nations. Member countries, including Uganda, join a new pro-free market initiative. And I think we have constantly said that as a people, we need to derive our own ways of making sure that we can, stay afloat without depending on aid. That is the biggest story. Odida, what do we have in Tanzania?
All right, tuvuke bongo sasa. We start off with the one on the Citizen. All right, they're talking about government's plan to align growth investment with Dira 2050, that Tanzania is advancing an investment-led growth strategy as it begins implementing its long-term development blueprint, that is Dira 2050. Parliament heard that yesterday, and this story has been captured on page 3 of the Citizen this morning. Why investing in women is key to inclusive growth. That's another very interesting read on page 2. Zanzibar's second Vice President Hamed Sile Abdullah spoke about it during the Citizen's Rising Women yesterday in Zanzibar. That's the Citizen. Tukiangalia gazeti la Mwananchi sasa, safari ya mageuzi upasuaji ubongo, Rais Samia azungumzia jitihada zilizofanywa kuokoa uhai, gharama za Watanzania, asimulia kilichomtoa machozi ORCI. Hiyo ni habari tu, ni habari kuu hapo katika ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili, na hiyo ni gazeti la Mwananchi. These are the stories making headlines regionally. Let's come back now and take a look at the caricatures this morning. And we start off with the Daily Nation. There are 2 people here. There's a graduate na kuna yule mtu ambaye aligraduate sasa yuko ground. Very malnourished there according to Gamzo. The graduate anasema I made it, yes I graduated, lakini anaambiwa pale well congrats, you've just qualified for unemployment. That's the caricature on the Standard, on the Daily Nation.
Daily Nation, that is. There's also an interesting one here about, of course, the economy by President William Ruto, who appears to have his spanner and speaking about the economy, you know, a car that is run down, and he figures out how he's going to address this. Whether he's going to get it right or not is a question of wait and see. So there you go. I think that also is one of the caricatures. That is the Star.
Yeah, that is the
Star newspaper.
Apparently the one I talked about was Standard. Now Iga is the one on the Daily Nation.
Yes.
Talking about pending bills, how this story of pending bills, it has been hitting headlines. Lakini ni kama hakuna kwenye inaenda pale. Zinashinda zimepile, they're just piling
in a pile.
Yeah.
And what is even worse is that there's this, you know, inaitwanga nini hizo vitu za that big vehicle
excavator, is it?
Well, call it an excavator, inachukua ikidump, you know, in places. So that means
they're untouchable.
Yes.
That's Iga, the Daily Nation. Finally, People Daily, Stanostic.
All right, who is fueling this mess? Interesting. That is the pumps, and you can see just how much it has a series of chains, you know, around, you know, Wanjiko. So that means definitely the Kenyans are not enjoying it at all, and it's about fueling the mess. Clearly, it is not a trouble that you want to smile about, because it's a total mess. Looking at the difficulties that we're about to face as a nation. Okay, then we get to the roads. Okay, the roads look really good this morning from what I see. That is to tell you, you need not to worry about where you're going. Westlands are looking fairly clean. That is around the museum. Pangani is where it is bad at the junction, you know, from Muthaiga going all the way down. But mostly this is expected because, of course, many vehicles are coming from, you know, Mathare, Outer Ring, Thika Road, trying to find their way to town. So normally you will find a bit of traffic around there. But when you look at the other parts, like Outer Ring is definitely clear this morning, which is something that you do not expect being a weekday still. But anyway, it's a Friday as well. Mostly on Fridays, not bad. You can see Juja Road is looking all clean, a bit from, apart from a bit of pockets, small pockets of traffic that actually is moving. Juja Road, the interchange, or maybe where you're supposed to turn, is where you get a bit of traffic. And I think these traffics are generally around roundabouts. You know, you see Landis Road is looking all clean. Jogoo Road is all beautiful this morning. Okay, there's a corner around Jogoo Road where there's a bit of traffic, and actually it's not even kidogo, it's a lot. So that means you have got to be careful. If you're coming from this side of Jogoo Road, you are going to experience a bit of a delay. So, I mean, this is the time to talk. This is just around the areas of Makadara. Yes, where else do we go? I see Bunyala Road is all clean. Lusaka Road is also very clean. Langata Yeah, Langata is also as good. And yes, I see all these other parts of the city are not looking so, but the southern bypass is clean, as you can evidently see. I think you just get to experience this around the roundabouts where vehicles are coming from different quarters and meeting there. Uhuru Highway looking good. Selassie as well, looking all good. So yes, the airport road is a bit, there's a bit of traffic on those sides. You have got to be careful if you're using this beat. As you can evidently see on those sides of Embakasi, that is terrible. Perhaps, I don't know, here Taj Mahal around this side. So yes, for those people who are using this road this morning, you are not so lucky. But anyway, you have got to just understand what's happening around you. And if you are somewhere on the road and you have anything happening, any incidents or anything good to report, we will be happy to hear from you. Odida, we take a short break? We do take a short break. Youth Perspective is coming up next. Matukio Halisi is our YouTube page this morning. TV47 Kenya on Facebook. TV47 Digital on X. 0793267279 is our WhatsApp line. Send us a voice note or a video of yourself as you also contribute to the conversations that we'll be having this morning. Bansi Kimuyu and DJ Blues will also be coming in later on the show with the weekend vibes. Just stay with us. Stick right here. The hashtag to use is TV47 Breakfast. Hashtag Story Near to. See you after the break. All right.
On the next episode of Connect In.
Top of the morning, miss. Welcome to Connect In.
These are the finest hoteliers ever assembled. This is our sous chef, who will be running to check on the tomato paste.
Enchanté de vous rencontrer. Oui, oui, tout appelle.
She is deaf and dumb. There is nothing Connect In does not provide.
Except drugs.
Of course.
What is wrong with you people?
Connect In, Saturday at 8:30 p.m. At 8:30 p.m.
Good morning.
You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza hii simu yako.
Hamna pesa.
I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimewekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Ikikunyuma.
Oh my God. He left me. Nitumie ni line.
Uko nje kuna wifi.
Why? High five?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea.
The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero umeka kwa beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
We won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47.
This is a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair.
It was hers.
for Youth Perspective. My name is Linda Alela, and I'll be having the guests so that they can help us unpack, the state of the nation that is on a youth lens or a youth's lens. So karibu sana. As always, it's important that we interact. And now that politics is shaping itself around, the stamina of the youth, I think it's important that we also get to hear how they are positioning themselves. No better guest to have than the youth themselves. And I'll be having Jared Oye, the ODM Youth League, or a member of the ODM Youth League. And also we shortly have Nick Mwangi, political analyst, but also a member of the United Opposition as we get to this conversation. Good morning.
Good morning.
Is it so good?
It's good, just very cold.
Very cold, I know. And also Kenyans are a bit worried about, the hike in fuel prices that would translate to the hike in so many other things, commodities. We have constantly complained about, scenario where we have, difficult times. You cannot afford even the basic commodities as a country. And therefore, there is a huge concern, away from the rains. So allow us to loop in Nick, who is on the other side. I see Nick is here already. Nick, ingia. Karibu sana.
Yes.
And morning to
I heard Jared say it's a good morning.
I mean, his view, we cannot dispute.
On the road.
Jared
is
in the broad-based government.
Good morning?
And therefore, he must be happy that things are going on well according to their report.
He just landed from a chopper. As we are using public means.
Oh, tell us, how's the experience?
It's terrible on the road.
It's expensive.
Fires, it's hiking everywhere. Where we are using to pay 50 bob,
right?
We're now paying 100 bob, double the price.
Double the price. But this was expected, Nick.
Was it?
Was it not?
They are saying it's Iran and USA.
Are they saying, or it's a fact?
But you see, when you were the other time, they were saying it had nothing to do with Ukraine and Russia.
Well, they were saying that because we had already bought fuel that was in the country for a moment.
Did we?
Okay.
He said we are not understanding the economy. We are giving Kenyans a lot of stress.
That is when they were seeking to get to power, but now they're in power.
Yes.
I keep asking this question because I've had that, that debate for the better part of the week, and many are saying so. And if it is going to be about that, really, it was almost the same time, a similar period, because we were headed to the 2022 general election. We are headed to the 2027 general election.
Yes.
This people would still have the interest to, run or govern the nation moving forward. Why would they not use the same tongue to speak so that they can get
expect this from these people? More lies, more gaslighting to Kenyans, and feeling a lot of empty promises again. Because look,
who is gaslighting more? Is it not the opposition? Okay, and I don't even know whether I want to.
We are coming out. We are coming out very clearly and saying
gaslighting.
Not gaslighting.
Okay.
We are telling Kenyans that these people are failing us.
I am keen to understand. If this was
yes.
your government,
yes.
and when I say your government, I want to assume that you are under the United Opposition, and therefore it's the banner of, say, DCP, the banner of, say, Jubilee, the banner of, say, Wiper, DAP, Kenya. Would you have handled it different?
But you see, this is not our government.
Or how would you, and I'm asking, how would you have handled it?
I'm telling you
because you see, this is a litmus test. It's going to help us understand as Kenyans whether you're capable. How different would you have handled it?
You see, we are not strangers of this country at all.
Yeah.
And this war did not start yesterday. By the time the former president was leaving office, the petrol
skyrocketed, the prices
was around 119.
Yeah.
Within 2 years.
119.
Yeah. No, it was around not 119.
No.
That was the dollar.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
That was the dollar. I was getting to that point of the dollar.
The dollar was at around 130.
No.
All right. Okay.
When 1 year, 2 years, 1 year after he came into power, immediately after he was, I think, sworn in, 1 year later, the dollars went high to 160. Then it came down to 130 just the other day, and they told us, look. They found empty coffers.
Yeah.
But we are seeing deliberate actions to frustrate Kenyans, to gaslight Kenyans, to incite Kenyans on matters of day to day. Do you know what it means by petrol going high? Every single thing, accommodation, transport, food, the most basic things that you need to survive is a mess.
And you will not appreciate what it is that the government is doing.
What has it done?
To caution Kenyans.
What has it done?
Linda,
yes.
Nyota?
let me chip in. Nick is talking about everything. We know that we are having the Ukraine, not the Ukraine, but we have the Iran
yeah.
and Israel, US war. We must agree and to live into this reality. This is a global problem, and where we are as a nation is saying that they were saying that they were empty coffers. The people were saying that they were empty coffers is this party leader. That is one. We must agree. There's nothing new that the united opposition or alternative government is going to offer to us as a country. We must also live with that reality. Number two, on the same breath, we must also live into the reality that the fuel that we have been consuming in the largest tons comes from the from Arab nations. Not as compared to the Ukraine, Russia, as it was towards the 2022 election.
Okay.
So this is a global thing. And I think after the fuel price rest was high, we also saw the VAT reduced by 8% on fuel. We must agree. And I think that reduced the fuel price by 10.
You know,
by 10, Bob.
They say too little, too late. Too little, too late, because you tell us it's at 13%. Before you know it, it's at 8%. And people are asking, why would you not have done that from the word go? Because then the prices of transport, as he says, have shot up. And they're saying they're not going to adjust that downwards. And even worse, you are not a stranger in Jerusalem. They continue to remind you that look at Uganda, look at Tanzania. Why is it that we still have that difference in terms of prices? Why can't we?
Actually, the Ugandan case is a bit unique to us because, again, you remember Uganda is a landlocked country.
It is.
And their fuel passes through Kenya, but their fuel price is low.
Yeah.
I think what is hitting Kenya is the levy that is put on the fuel.
Okay.
And again, I'm agreeing on Nick that we have a debt cartel in the fuel industry and in our economy, and that has been affecting our country. It's not on the transport. This, I think we are feeling the heat of this war and the heat of the fuel price on our dining tables. It's not only on the rental, as you put it. We feel it in all levels of the economy, in our supermarket shelves. So this is something that we must live into. And I think at the end of the day, we may not get it right today. We may not get it right now. But as things stand, we know that we are having fuel in Turkana. It's unfortunate that we get our fuel in Turkana, we export it out, the crude oil, then we import it back again, much expensive. We are saying, why can't we have self-resilience? We say the self, I don't know how I can put it. Sisi wenyewe tukue tunajiweza si tu kama inchi, but kama continent Africa. Yeah. I think for the longest time we must agree as a continent, as a nation, that we have been depending on the outside products, or even the ones we have in the country. We take them out for fine processing, then we import them back, much expensive. We ask ourselves, is the fuel in Turkana benefiting the Turkana people and Kenya as a nation?
Africa's resource, basically.
Exactly.
And that we have not tapped
into. And that's why, and any inch of the world, leo tunaomba sana the Houthis in Yemen, they should not close the strait that is next to the Djibouti. If they close, it will be worse because we import a lot. I think our consumption, the fuel consumption that we are having in the country, we import 100%. And as I was telling you, I think the largest importing fuel that we have comes from the Arab nations. So this war obviously was going to affect our fuel price.
And that's why, Nick, we must agree that to a large extent or to a minimal extent, there is some impact that the world is bound to feel, out of these wars. It's something that we cannot run away from. But what he brings on board as a point is very critical. And Africa's future is placed on the hands of the youth of Africa. What will it take for us to realize the importance of what we have as a people in terms of resource and tap into it for the benefit of the people of Africa? So I was reading the Daily Monitor that is in Uganda today, and they speak of, this aid. Dambisa Moyo speaks of dead aid, where now the West says enough is enough. We're not going to be sending money back to Africa. I mean, how do we caution ourselves?
First, allow me to first respond to my good friend, Jared. Jared is blowing hot and cold. That's what we're saying. Their team are gaslighting Kenyans. Because Jared is saying on one hand, hey, look, we don't have oil. Things are doing well. Things are doing badly, but this government is doing well. You see, those are the sentiments that is
government doing well.
I'm talking, Jared. These are the things that are gaslighting Kenyans. You know, we have oil in Turkana. We have oil in Tana River. Assume this. You have water in your house, but I'm selling you water. You are providing water, but I'm selling you water.
Right.
You know what that means? Number two, in as much as we want to blame the war, you know, their party leader, now that I'm assuming they have one party leader, because,
he's here to confirm.
Yes, he will confirm.
You have seen there's trouble in paradise.
There's trouble, you've seen it. Okay. They have one party leader. Their party leader, he keeps saying, I have experience. I've been an MP from 1997 to 2012. I've been deputy president for 10 years. It means he's a seasoned person. It means definitely you understand what it means, crisis management, right? We had COVID. There was still trouble in oil industry. We had, as he said, Ukraine and Russia. There was still trouble. We have had this war of Russia and of Iran and USA. Does it mean they were just sleeping, waiting for this crisis?
You know, I still do not understand Unique, because the head of state,
yes,
yesterday, the day before yesterday, spoke to this matter and said that we understand that this is where we are, and these are, repercussions of what is happening in the global space. But we are doing this as a people. We have adjusted. You want to tell me you do not see this adjustment?
You see, let me tell you.
How different would you have wished for the government to handle this?
The fuel price was around 170. It shot high to 206. And then then later on it dropped to 196. So what has happened exactly? I'm starting the fire.
Is it not what it is that you asked?
I'm starting the fire.
Yeah.
I put it off, and then I come tell you, look, nimewazimia hii moto.
Is that really what happened?
You know, it's very clear. Jared has said it very clearly here, and you're on the record. Countries like Uganda, which are landlocked, Tanzania, how do you explain to the entire world that the fuel price
is slightly
lower than us?
Okay.
We are the people who are receiving this oil. We take it to them, and they take it back to us.
So what the trouble is in the VAT?
The trouble is here. The trouble is in the management. The trouble is in the accountability. The trouble is in corruption.
Linda,
you understand?
To respond.
Linda, maybe if I come in, I think we should. I think in our generation, and I think is running for a position, we are not going to be complaining as young people of this country. We need to offer solutions. In as much that we are going to point out the wrongs in the country and governance that are in the nation, we must diversify our energy consumption, not only on fuel. And that's why today I think it will testify that we have electric cars and electric bikes. We also have geothermal being produced in the country. We need to diversify. We have the solar energy that is being installed and being run in the country. We need to diversify. And I think that will be very important for us. Linda asked a very important question. When will Africa stand on its own? When will we be able, and as much that we may be having little deposit of crude oil in our country from Turkana, as you put it, and Tana River, what else can we do as a nation to diversify our energy consumption, which is also very important? We're not going to rely largely on the fuel, though we understand the essence of the fuel running our economy today. And where we are sitting in here, as he puts it, I'm agreeing with him that the cartels and the corruption is hitting us much bigger. If it were not for the corrupt leaders and the corrupt individuals holding our economy hostage, maybe today our fuel could have been lower.
Okay.
As he put it, today the fuel, despite the war in Iran and the Arab nations that have affected the import of these fuels, at least it's at 190. Our fuel, if you compare with the Tanzanian fuel today, I think is much expensive than Kenyan. I think that needs to go to record to him. But the Ugandan fuel is cheaper.
They are cheaper as of yesterday.
Yes.
They were way cheaper compared to what it is.
It's also very important, Nick, to know, Nick, I'm not from UDA party. I'm from ODM party. So my party leader is Dr. Burogingo Odinga. You have never been deputy president anywhere.
So he put a disclaimer. He put a disclaimer to say that he assumes.
Yes. No, the party leader ODM is Dr. Burogingo Odinga. So I'm not about reading the papers. I'm coming from political parties structured. No, the party leaders are not on the papers.
There's trouble.
Yes. So the troubles of the party, maybe that we'll talk into later. But where we are again, Linda, I'm surprised because we haven't finished. We are still grumbling and trying to find how to stabilize our economy. And then again, we are having the sugar scam. We are asking ourselves, where are we as a country, and where are we going? It has meant that we want to blame the political leadership of our country. We must also come down into the corporate leaders that we are having in the nation. In as much that we want to complain about our political space, what about our corporate space that we are having? Because like now the sugar scam that we are having, from oil scandal now to sugar scam. Are we going to come from sugar scam again to other things?
And sugar that is already on the shelf.
No, it's on the shelf. These are the tough questions.
We have got to blame the leadership.
It's good that Jared sees these things.
Yeah.
It's good that he sees that the people that he's supporting now, because we were with him the other day. It's good that he sees that. He sees the light. So I want even to advise him and his party, because this person that they are supporting, he will wreck this country. We have seen it. He's wrecking their own party. He knows it.
Are they supporting him anymore?
No, even he will tell us today. But I'm getting to this point, Linda.
Linda, I don't know why Nick wants to speak on my behalf.
I will allow you to.
I'm getting to this point, Linda. It's by profession, I'm a chemical and petroleum engineer.
Okay.
And I went to school to study. And there are good points that Jared is bringing, that we need to diversify. We currently even have, Jared does not know, we currently even have nuclear plants in Kenya, according to our Vision 2030 vision, so that it was supposed to produce more power and energy in our country. Yeah. He's talking about electrical cars. But you see, that is not the issue we are suffering from. We are suffering from the issue of accountability, suffering from the issue of the element of corruption. We are suffering from the issue of the Kenyan person is being robbed daylight, Linda. And there's nothing that Kenyans can do rather than speak as we are. You see, before we come to the issue of accountability, if there's no accountability, Jared is expecting us to keep quiet? No, we have to speak. We are living in this country, we are paying taxes, Linda. Jared also has to know that in as much as we bring new technology like electric cars, it comes at a cost.
Right.
And this cost is being paid by the common mwananchi. We have I've seen few buses, few companies like City Hopper, like Super Metro, they have tried to embrace the electrical cars, but Jared also has to know, these cars go to, they charge at a certain point yeah. with a cost. That cost is implicated to the person coming to that bus. These are the things that we need to address, the issues of accountability.
And speaking of accountability, Jared, you see it's difficult to talk about accountability and not put the government at the heart of it, unfortunately. That even if we want to involve every stakeholder, the corporate world is going to come right after the government. And you sit in the broad-based government. Would you say that this government is slowly failing the people of Kenya?
Linda, from the part I'm coming from, we talk truth to power. And I think it will be wrong when we stand or rise to defend corruption. Let those who are corrupt face the full force of law.
You know, we do not get to see people defending corruption as such, but we also do not get to see them speak to the issues of corruption. And that's what Kenyans constantly argue, that, you know, you do not get to see these things just because you are in government. You do not get to see these things just because you have a few ministers that are representing your party in government. You do not get to see these concerns simply because you have come together, you know, in a coalition, saying that your business is to make sure that we have sanity in the country, sanity that we actually do not get to see and enjoy to the maximum.
Accountability is very key to us. And this is one of our greatest pillars as a political party, ODM. In despite who does the wrong, in despite the person who is at the red line of corruption, I think we'll never shy. If it is Opiyo Wandayi who was...
And I wanted to ask you that. There are these calls that Opiyo Wandayi should resign.
Exactly.
What do you think?
If it's Opiyo Wandayi who is in the red line of the corruption corner, from the ODM party, I'm pretty sure the youth leagues will not lie down and just watch him and say that is one of ours, is one of our own. I think at some point we remember when the country was saying that we want that thief who is ours. From the ODM party, it will be wrong for us to stand and say that we want that thief who is ours. If it's wrong, we call him wrong. And if he's corrupt, if that thing falls on him, we'll call him out. Until then. But today, again, I think he had gone through the parliament, the parliamentary committee, and we are waiting to see the designated organs of our country, the DCI, the EAC, and these other organs to do their work until then. But again, the public role that they are putting and the pressure that the people of Kenya are putting for accountability, for us is very healthy and we support it. I think corruption does not have is not partisan. I'm pretty sure accountability does not only fall in some quarters. It calls for all of us as a nation. And to our demographic, the young people of our country, it will be very wrong to now take it to maybe to be a Jubilee thing, to be a DCP or UDA or an ODM affair. This is an affair of our country. This is an affair of our generation. I think one of the reasons why the Gen Zs were on the street 2024 was on accountability. And we will not lie down and let our backs be stepped on again on the accountability cause. From my demographic young people on the ODM party and our country, I'm pretty sure that accountability becomes of our key pillar moving forward. In spite of who is who. At some point, we remember, leave alone the partisan part of it. We remember at some point in our country, those who have been corrupt have tried, in most cases, to rally maybe their community and tribe behind them when they are called out. And I think for us, we'll not do that. If you're corrupt with your family. It's not come down to the party, to maybe to the whole community. Let the individuals, that's just like Singapore and China, let the individuals who are corrupt face full force of law. And I think during our time when we take the charge of this country, as we'll shoot them and hang them. Why must they be corrupt, slandering the resources of our country?
You cannot shoot and hang.
No.
The law does not dictate that.
That's the only...
Is that a law that you intend to introduce?
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
He has tested what it means to be in this government.
Yes.
Now he's speaking like the people in those...
Is he? Is that how they speak? We have the law. We have the law that allows...
Getting shoot and hung. You see, that's the language of these people.
No,
but anyway,
I'm giving an example. Nick, I'm giving an example. I think how Singapore got themselves out to where they are, because we want to go to Singapore.
They had to be radical.
We remember where China is today because they had to do something extraordinary.
Wait a minute. You say you want to go to Singapore. How far are you?
So,
you are in Canada already?
This is a work on progress.
So where are we? Where are we? That is what we're asking. Are we? Where are we? Are we next to Canada? Are we getting
Linda.
Okay.
You know, if you have a matatu and you have a driver and a conductor, and the passengers are now saying allegedly the conductor should resign, and they're forgetting who is the driver. So Jared is here telling us, you know, we are okay if Opiyo resigns, but who's at the helm of driving this country? You know, I want to take Jared back in history. in 2022, the former Prime Minister of Britain, by that time was called Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson was caught doing a party.
Yes.
He went against the COVID regulation set by him in Parliament. At that point of time, he was asked to resign as a Prime Minister, to step aside.
Right.
We have had so many scandals right from 2022 when they were fighting for Kenyans. Right from 2022 to date, the government of the day has failed in its accountability. The most decent action they can do to Kenyans is to resign.
What about impeachment? I mean, there are other options in the Constitution that allow for that, and you have seen one of your party leaders going through that.
You see, I want to remind Jared, the former Prime Minister was a good man.
Okay.
Was a good man. And when he at that point of time, when he realized that his working condition with the president of the day was not conducive, he resigned and went back to the ballot. That is the most decent thing that the people from the broad base, including ODM, knows this. That if a system is not working well for the people, the most decent thing is resign and allow people.
Am I not hearing you saying that almost everybody is going to resign? Because according to you people, nothing is working.
These people are bitter.
So will we have a leadership at all?
See, Linda, let's be frank.
Yeah.
We know we're not in power, right?
Yes.
You cannot call us out for something that we have not done.
Unfortunately, you have to be called out because you are anticipating to be in power.
What these people are expecting, they're expecting to mess this country, and we keep quiet. Linda, what is accountability? What does the Constitution say? What is our rights? What does Jared remember the article of the Constitutions? That if I slap him to the left, should he say shoot? Or should we follow the law?
I'll kill you if you slap.
It's important. He says it's during your reign. Perhaps you people are going to adjust the laws to something.
No, it's important. First, we respect the spirit of the law. Because the spirit of the law is where it's missing. We are seeing so many things going wrong in this country because people are not just doing the simple mandate, following the Constitution, respecting the Constitution. You cannot say frivolous things like shoot to the leg. It's okay to shoot to the leg. You cannot be abducting people in broad daylight and still saying you are respecting the law. You cannot. I heard you talk about e-citizen earlier, and what most Kenyans don't understand or don't, or Jared is failing to inform them, e-citizen is robbing Kenyans daylight. We used to pay our food, for example, we were back in the day in university, we used to pay 30 bob by cash. Right now, you go and pay for your food through e-citizen, and you still cannot see that food.
You still cannot see that food.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
You are paying for your food through the
that you cannot see.
and still cannot see it. No. It's a mess.
He wants to respond to you.
Linda, it's very important for us to set the record straight.
Right.
Nick is lying a lot because there's no way you'll pay food and lack to see that food. That's one.
As a comrade, you know that is not even
As a comrade, we know. We all know.
Go out there and say...
Jared understands that during our day, during our days and now, times have changed.
Linda.
During our time, me and Jared will go out and say, comrades, power. Right now, things are not the same.
But that we have goonism in the country, and this is being...
And they're still not speaking about it.
I'm going to play that, but you will see most of the people who are goons, actually, literally, okay, if you'd want to label them as goons, but also those ones that are causing destruction, are youth. So...
And I think it's also very important. I don't know the party Nick is coming from, but I think it's DCP or Jubilee.
He's going to tell us. But at least the united opposition.
I think he's belonging in a political party. I think it's DCP or Jubilee.
Can you answer him? Or you're still calculating?
I'll address it, either of the parties.
Okay.
We all remember during when Kenya Kwanza came into power, which of course Kenya Kwanza that is still in power. As in as much that we are being pushed that we are in coalition, we aren't in coalition yet. We from the party, and that's why we have been having conversation that we have never deposited any coalition agreement with the registered political parties. And again, if we were to be in a coalition with the UDA, we haven't deleted or removed ourselves from the Azimio coalition yet. So we can...
you know, you people are...
No. Linda, I'm answering something.
Okay.
I want to set record straight. We haven't entered into coalition with the UDA party, but we are in a working relationship. The broad-based working relationship is informal. It's not formally deposited.
And which is wrong for the country, because we cannot be operating in such
There's nothing wrong for the country. There's nothing wrong for the country.
For parties to just be friends.
Yeah, there's no problem parties being friends. That is one. Number two, for Nick, we must also agree. As he talks more like a DCP party member or Jubilee. We all remember where the DCP stands in this country. When we had the wars that he was mentioning here, the Ukraine-Russia war, we remember their party leader, how he talked and even cautioned some people from the quarters of the country not to demonstrate or go to the street, for them to just have the hard life or just to caution themselves and move forward with the hiked petrol and diesel price then. We also remember the members of the same party, when they were in working relationship with the government, not with the government, but with the UDA. Because again, even the members in the DCP, and a number of them, I'll tell you here, the MPs, the senators, the governors, they are still members of the UDA party. And that's why you are saying that in ODM it will detest bad. But from other political parties, it's okay. That's why we must set these things straightforward. During their working relationship, during their days in the Jubilee, I don't know this in Jubilee again, we all remember, these things didn't start yesterday, Linda. We must get these things right, and we must also be straightforward to the people of Kenya. We don't need to come here to be popular, just for the sake of popularity and to have likes and push an agenda that is not even there. And forcing us into the quarters and corners where we do not belong from our political party position. At some point even quoting that we have another political party leader that we even don't know. And it is known that the political party leader of ODM is Dr. Oburu Oginga Odinga. So I don't know what he's even talking about. So Nick need to be truthful to the viewers and listeners this morning.
Maybe you people need to be more truthful, and I'm not trying to support what it is that Nick says. If we are going to wake up to this conversation where ODM suspends 2027 coalition talks with UDA, ODM has been in the broad-based government for quite some time there. So what exactly are you? What exactly is going on in there? What arrangement is this, and of what benefits to the common mwananchi? Because this is one of the largest parties in the country, perhaps the largest so far, or maybe you would maybe not really the oldest, but one of the strongest parties that has been celebrated in terms of party structure. For the very first time, we see a split. For the very first time, we see confusion. You want to ask another question on my behalf?
Before we go to ODM, because I know Jared is so excited about ODM. You know, Jared wants to corner Kenyans into DCP and Jubilee. When a majority of Kenyans came out in June 25th, 2024, where was DCP and Jubilee and ODM?
They were not there.
They were not there.
Okay.
He keeps forgetting we were with him in the street.
DCP wasn't even formed, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
He keeps forgetting that how many Kenyans were shot dead on the floor of the parliament, Linda. Where was DCP? Where were we still there not complaining about the finance bill?
You were.
Is Nick and Jared still the same people who are saying, look, the tax is so high, the housing levy is not making a lot of sense? But right now, Jared has forgotten that we are fighting a war, and we are fighting a war, and we are still fighting. We are still yet to win the war. He became too comfortable. He started eating and forgot about the people that he was fighting for.
Contrary to that, I would say that perhaps Jared realized that
he surrendered
nation.
He surrendered too early.
Was that surrender, or from what it is that they say,
coming from
that
a point
was bringing
surrender.
sanity to the nation which we enjoy today?
You know, Linda, there's so
you
many
can
ways.
imagine if we kept on doing that. And I keep reminding us that we are not, we are all vulnerable as nations, and we are not immune to the things that have happened in other nations that we have seen.
Linda, were you in this country when Boniface Karaoke was shot dead selling masks?
I was.
Jared was in this country as well. I was there. I saw.
And you want the situation to be that all through just because things are not working right? Can't we, have a better way of handling things?
Linda, you are here. Have you seen any form of accountability? Has someone been jailed for such actions?
So what would you expect?
What I expect,
Yes.
one, Linda, that Jared and the co, first, they apologize to Kenyans. Which taking us to through a rough turmoil, depression, frustration, gaslighting. That needs to come out very clearly. Number two, if they cannot run this country, if they cannot govern this country, let them surrender, let them resign. So that those who are effective like Jared, I know he's an effective leader, when given the mandate, they can responsible run this country.
Do you understand the implications of them waking up and saying that we have resigned and that a country has to be, you know, thrown to a certain level where, first of all, we look for an interim government, perhaps we figure out an election almost immediately. And in all this time, we didn't even have, you know, an IEBC commission. I mean, what exactly? Are you going to say now that the United Opposition is going to swing to power and...
Linda,
yeah.
Again, you're falling to Jared's trap.
No, not really, not really. I'm just asking solid and valid
This is not an issue of United Opposition.
Okay.
It's an issue of Kenyans.
But I'm asking,
that's where we are.
So upon resignation, how do we
That's
move?
where we are. Linda,
Linda,
we have seen nations, like Linda, we have seen countries, we have seen individuals coming out and running countries. Linda, you're not given an opportunity yet to run this country. You're not given an opportunity to run the ICT.
I will surprise you people.
You'll surprise us. Same as Jared. If Jared is given an opportunity to run the Ministry of Youth effectively, he will do a very good job. But right now we are saying, let us surrender. There's no any other option because these people are failing us. That's why you're putting Kenyans. But coming to the issue of ODM, I want Jared because he's my good friend. I told him, if you invite this person in, you will see hell. You will see... Who
invited the other?
Yeah, he knows. He will tell us. He'll tell us how they came into this arrangement because I'm not very privy to the agreement. And that's why you see the likes of Sifuna used to come here and support Sifuna very much. I really don't know what happened along the way. There's a lot happening that today Sifuna is coming out and saying he does not and he will not support a mediocre party leader. He will tell us if he still supports Sifuna with such kind of statements or allegations. And you see, I was watching yesterday when a section of Linda Tumbo, they were really disgruntled.
Okay.
They're really disgruntled. They are saying, oh, they are now crying wolf. Oh, this government is kicking us to the back. Oh, this government will come out.
Linda Tumbo?
Yeah, he will tell us. Oh, you know what? You know, these things are not working. You know what? Because they were promised something that was not there. Right now, this reality is coming on that they cannot get the number 2 seat that
But what is this that they were promised? And that is my biggest problem. Jared, let us invite Kenyans to be part of this conversation because it's critical that we also get to hear from them. Tuma video, Tuma ata audio. You know, our WhatsApp line is running on your screens. We have got to hear from you as a people of Kenya. What do you make of where we are in terms of politics? Because it's important that...
Before Jared comes in, let me finish. He's coming in. I'm just finishing the last thing. You know, Jared... What I love about him, he's so passionate about ODM. You've said it very well. ODM used to be the strongest party. Can you imagine right now, today ODM is crying wolf about zoning? ODM used not to worry about zoning in Homa Bay or in Mombasa.
No, the zoning conversation has been there some time back, even during the times of BAMB.
He knows very well. Yeah. ODM never feared. Why? Because they believed in their muscle.
Okay.
Right now they're in a position.
Scared?
They're scared.
Are they?
They are, because UDA is putting a lot of shelves in their region.
I can come in.
Yes, you can come in.
Thank you very much. I think it's also very important, and I appreciate Nick for the insights. We must also agree that it didn't start June 2024. From the part I'm coming from, since its birth in 2007, you have been in the street for the longest time. And we have lost so many of our comrades, so many of our supporters, so many of our members. We must also agree that it is not new for us agitating for Kenyans. For the longest time, we carry the wounds, we carry the burden, we have carried the grief of our country, Kenya, from the party I'm coming from, ODM. And that's why in the wake to 2024, when things had run out of hand, and we felt, I think, I become a Kenyan first before I become a member of ODM. Before I'm partisan, I'm a Kenyan, and Kenya becomes first. And that's why in the wisdom of the party leader then, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, CGH, he felt it right in his wisdom to first put the country forward, and I think it was to save the nation Kenya. I've said this year before, that if this country Kenya is destabilized, the only region will be destabilized. We can't go the Uganda, not Uganda, but we can't go the Sudan way. We can't be Somalia. We can't be South Sudan. We are Kenya, we can't go the Congo way. And that's why our stability and peace means a lot to us. Before maybe I fall into a quarter that maybe I'm coming from the lake or from the Mount Kenya, or from Rift Valley or coast, Kenya becomes bigger than any region and bigger than the political party we're coming from. That is one. And number two, on the shooting that he has mentioned, I think we must also know that the shooter, that the guy who shot Rex Masai, the case is in court. And I think these are things that we need to follow up and know where they are. We are waiting soon to see the government entities which are entrusted to do this job, to deliver to the people of Kenya and give us more trust in these institutions, because they are being paid the Kenyan by the Kenyan taxes. And it's also very important for us to also note down that these things we didn't just wake up and find ourselves where we are today. We must agree that it is good that each generation has found their purpose, and it's good that our generation have found their purpose, that we want a country where systems work and where our leaders are accountable to us, which is very important. And I believe in that us moving forward as a generation will keep the flames in there burning.
Until then?
We have been asked a question here on the parties that we are coming from. The reason why maybe I'm putting my conversation around political parties. Linda, we know that the area, or I'll say the cooking pot, where policies are being made around the nations are the political parties. We are where we are because of Kenya Kwanza's policies and manifestos. I'm from ODM and Azimio. Our manifestos, our policies are not getting implemented in this government. And that's why we are telling young people that they need to find themselves and fall into these political parties. We failed in June 2024 because we had valid reasons why to be on the street, but they were not consolidated. Finding them to implement them was very difficult. Us finding ourselves and following these political parties, we influence the policies directly. We also get ourselves on the tables and the making of these policies. It's also very important that we will be able to influence and also tilt the directions of these policies moving forward as a nation and as a generation. From now, the ODM party, I think it's a question that has been asked. I think last week we talked about zoning here. And it's also very important to touch it again for Nick to get it right. We have orange zones, and I'll say maybe you have let me talk about the orange zones that maybe I know. And then other political parties also have their zones. It's also very important. If you're going into coalition with any political party, even when you were in the coalition with the Azimio in Jubilee and Wiper, though it's also always being done in a metropolitan area. Example, here in Nairobi, we know that Wiper always have one constituency, that is Embakasi South. That any coalition that they'll enter, they say, please leave for us the Embakasi South. We also know that UD is not having any stronghold in Nairobi, for example, that we are not expecting them to come and tell us that they want to zone any area in Nairobi. And we'll also agree that if maybe, in case we get into coalition with the UDA, we'll say that maybe Rift Valley may not field candidates in Rift Valley, but not all the Rift Valley. We know that ODM is strong in Kajiado, ODM is strong in Narok. Such areas we get.
But there are members within this faction of ODM that are not happy.
So the zoning comes in this perspective. We also look into the strength of a political party in the region, a constituency, and county. Before we get into that, there's a lot of research behind it. There's a lot of polls being done behind zoning. So you don't just wake up and zone. But it's also a matter of interest and concern to us. We, the ODM party members, to a point that today you are crying that want to zone our political party in our stronghold.
But are you aware that the likes of Bad Girl Millie, Jared Okello, are not happy about these zoning conversations? Have you factored in their interests?
Exactly, that's why I'm coming in. That's what I'm saying. It's so unfortunate that today you are going to cry foul that you need to zone ODM in Homa Bay. That's not ODM we know. Even as we're asking ourselves the toughest question, what kind of leaders are we having today that you want to tell us that we are into a coalition and the bare minimum that you can have with our partners is zoning? That has never been ODM. We are in a
but what is democracy? Jared, what is democracy? My assumption would be, if you know that this is your stronghold, why do you worry? Why don't you allow UDA to come? And you are certain that, you are going to get a win. Why don't you just allow that democracy to thrive?
I wish you could have let me
proceed, but don't make it tight so that we also can have him come in.
Exactly.
And I know they're also struggling with that.
The same.
As it stands, Olkalau is another one. They're saying that if you do not, if Jubilee as well as DCP are going to front candidates, it's going to be a win for UDA, straight win, because there's going to be a split of votes.
A stronger democracy can be realized by stronger political parties in play. And even the United Opposition is not exceptional. For us, ODM in any concert we will get into, we must appreciate and also give a chance and a breathing space to our sister political parties that we will be working with. And despite, we may not even work with UDA, we may find ourselves again working with our Azimio sisters.
And I'm impressed that today Azimio is so Azimio for ODM, while some time back it wasn't.
There's trouble.
There's clearly trouble.
Yeah,
all right.
Linda, they should not kill you.
I haven't finished.
Finish so that he can come in.
Yes. And let's say today, because we are still in Azimio, let's say today if you are to work with UDA, as maybe that's what you want to hear, with UDA, there are areas that will be not reserved, but we let ODM feel their strongest.
But where are the Kenyans in all this? You started by saying that the reason why the broad-based government
let me come
together,
in, Linda.
and I'm allowing you to coming in.
Yes.
The reason why you came together was for the purpose of putting the nation first before you people. And now it is from away from collaboration. You're now talking of alliances. You're not talking about splitting the cow to two.
Exactly.
Where is the Kenyan?
We came to, and I think it is good. And I think S just quoted this before, Edwin Sifuna, that we were to work at the broad base until 2027. These talks are talks beyond 2027.
Okay.
This is talks that we are getting into the election in 2027. So that's where we are.
So how are you going to perform for Kenyans in this short period until 2027 if you are disgruntled to this level?
Linda, what Jared is fearing to tell Kenyans is ODM is in trouble. UDA is not.
Okay.
That's a fact. And I told him, look, Jared, if you invite this guy in your home, he will mess it up. He will start with the bedroom, destroy the bedroom, come to the kitchen, go to the toilet. Before you know it, you have no house. Jared told me, look, Nick, ODM is a strong party. Now ODM, there's Linda Mwananchi, there's Linda Tumbo, there's Linda whatever, and they're even spoiling her name, Linda.
There's Linda Alela here.
There's Linda Alela here. But you see, what I'm not agreeing with you and Jared is this, Linda. I want to assure you this. By the time we get into 2027, there will be so many independent candidates in parliament, county assemblies, and Senate. Why? It's because a majority of Kenyans have lost faith in these political parties. Linda, and that is why, you see, Jared has said one important factor, that they were in the street. But when ODM gave up on the people decided to take the mantle to their hands.
We haven't given up.
They took it. For the first time in history, Jared has to know that it's no longer about parties. It's about the people.
But how possible is it for an independent candidate
it is very much,
in parliament?
It is very much.
You saw what has happened.
I will tell you, there are two governors.
They go in independent,
Linda, let me tell you how
they are swallowed with parties.
Let me tell you how democracy can cause a ripple effect. By the time we came into 2022, there were two independent governors.
But they aligned to certain parties.
You understand?
Ultimately.
Why? It's because the two majority parties, they strong-armed them. But you see the spirit of Kenyans, that if I am confident enough to vote for Linda, who's not affiliated to any party, it means democracy is growing. Sooner or later, political parties will not, because as they are, political parties are not, see, ideally, by law, political parties are properties of Kenyans. But at certain quarters, political parties have been made to look in a way as if it's an individual ownership. But it's not. It's not supposed to be that way, Linda. Because Linda, it's very dangerous when people lose faith in political parties. Because it means definitely they lose faith in the democratic process. You see, people are looking at, they are seeing as if it's a joke. When we have so many Kenyans coming out and vying as independent candidate, it clearly tells you there's a loss of trust and faith in the political parties. You spoke very well about the issue of Ol Kalou. And this is what I disagree also with the United Opposition. This thing cannot be reduced to DCP, Jubilee, the UDA, or any other party. It has to be reduced to what the people of Ol Kalou want. The people of Ol Kalou have lost a very important member of parliament. It means what has stopped? The roads are stopped. The bursaries are not coming in anymore. It means that Kenyans also, we are going to use a lot of money, taxpayers' money, to bring in another.
To find in the by-elections.
The by-election.
Right.
You see what's happening? At the end of the day, who's feeling the pinch?
The Kenyans.
The Kenyans. So who has the right to speak about the people to be voted in Ol Kalou? Is it the parties or is it the Kenyans?
It is the Kenyans.
That's where we are.
Through the parties. But interesting, I'm glad that you bring this up because I'd love to know. Jared has mentioned here that you would want to vie and you did not dispute, and therefore I take it that that is the position.
Yes.
But you people align yourselves with certain parties. He aligns himself with the ODM party. You equally understand the infightings that happen during primaries, during these nomination processes. How are you people positioned to make sure that if
Linda,
all...
Unfortunately, this is what has happened to so many young people. The old guards reduced us to what they wanted us to be. Because if you look at the likes of his colleague, Kasmuel, Kasmuel came out very strong. But right now, he has been reduced to what ODM, how ODM works.
Kasmuel appears very happy. I have hosted him personally, and he says he has been nurtured like he has never been nurtured before, in terms of understanding
at the same point, Kasmuel came out very clearly. At some point, he said, look, we lost a lot of faith in these old parties, in this old system. It's very important to aspire mentorship, Linda. But who's mentoring you? Linda. And you know, the sad truth is Kenyans today, or young people today, don't want to be reduced to either broad-based or united opposition. They want reality. If you ask me, you've asked me a very important question. I want to find Roysambu. The people of Roysambu really don't care if I'm in united opposition or broad-based. They really care about, is there a water system? Are there good roads? Are children going to school? I have to explain that to them. They will not really care about which political faction that I am coming from.
I'll tell you this, and I don't know whether I'm allowed to talk about this. Personally, I am a voter in Roysambu.
Yes.
And therefore you have to stop me.
But
I can tell you for free,
yes,
no matter how much I care about all those basic things, the many times I have voted, and I don't know how many, I have looked at what party, Niwa party, Gani and everything. That is one thing we cannot run away from
It's because, Linda, for the longest time, since you've been a child, someone has been whispering to your ear that this party works.
You want to say that I don't have my mind of my
I am not saying so. I'm telling you, you need to listen to me. What is really lacking in Roysambu, for example? Water. So are you really concerned, Linda, as a voter, that which party Nick is coming from? Or the water that is missing in your house?
The water fact.
Then it really means Kenyans really need to listen more.
Are you going to go it independent? Would you be happier if you've gotten a ticket from a certain...
You see, Linda, it's not about Nick. It's about the people of Roysambu.
Okay.
Let's not reduce this issue to
parties.
Yes, let us talk about issues. That's where we are.
I'm tempted to say that, but reality is that we have seen even the independent candidates going into parliament and they're swallowed parties because there's a way that we still...
Because you are told, Linda, by the way, if you don't join in here, you will suffer. You're not going to get bursaries. You're not going to get money to build roads. That's what happens in parliament.
And now that's the reality, that we still are in that politics where we have got to talk about parties.
Linda, let's come back slowly here. So
Jared is about to...
Is it the issue? Because Jared wants to come in. I know he's going to support what I'm saying. Is it the issue about parties or the issues about the people?
It's
so
about
what happens?
Definitely.
What happens to Nick, who's an independent candidate? He goes to parliament fighting for the people of Roysambu and is strong-armed. So what needs to change? The ideologies in those parties.
Right.
Because it seems just about right that these people, the people in these parties, forgot the mandate of the people.
Jared.
Linda, thank you. First, it's unfortunate.
I thought you were going to support what he said.
It's unfortunate.
He's shy.
I'm not shy. You see, maybe we have been seeing it differently, and we've been trying to rally young people, we say viable aspirants to join political parties, purposely, because I've stated it even in just I think few minutes ago, that where policies that run the nation are being made, they're in the political parties. And Nick saying that running maybe independent candidate may be easy for him, but me I see it differently. Independent candidate, yes, for some people, but we need to consolidate. We need to organize and not agonize. We don't need to fragment our energy and efforts moving forward. And the reasons why political parties do exist, they carry not just individual policy, but the policy of the nation. If it asks maybe from the ODM position about the policy on education, on agriculture, on industrialization, it's something very clear that we expect the leaders who are coming in to implement them. And that's why we have these political parties. It is good. There's an area I may agree with him. In the longest time, apart from ODM and the KANU, a number of political parties have been formed because a leader agreed with another leader. A good example is maybe DCP today. DCP is formed because Rigathi Gachagua disagreed with the President Ruto. And if there were no agreement, maybe DCP couldn't have been formed. So it is not formed clearly out of ideology, a policy, or a pillar. So they can't give us a reason why DCP is formed. We all know why it was formed. It was to agitate for independence and so on. We also remember ODM came due to the multi-party, after the multipartyism, now when we were fighting for the new constitution. So there are reasons. So there are these policies that form the political parties. Okay. And we urge young people to join these political parties, to influence the policy in these political parties. And if possible, they need to fight and get the tickets to run for offices in these political parties. As a question that has come from, not a question but a statement, that we have Linda Wananchi, Linda Ground, Linda Tumbadon, where it's coming from me, but I don't want to talk about that. You can't go to the ground without Wananchi, and you can't go to Wananchi without going to the ground. And I think these are ODM affairs. In fullness of time, when I listened to even to the SG the other day, there's something that is said, SG Edwin Sifuna, there's something that is said very clearly, that we can still
of ODM
get it right. ODM is one. I'm from ODM party.
But SG...
Don't function me, please.
Your SG is not Sifuna.
Don't function me, please.
According to the...
This is a case still running in court. And where we are, if you go... I think if you check the structure of the ODM, we haven't ratified or made changes from the party. I'm having it.
Okay.
From the party leadership. Okay. So what Sifuna said that we can still get it right when the ODM sits down and have the people who are steering the leadership get the senses back and find it and feel that we need everybody on board. So in most cases in the history of the political parties, let me use these two examples.
Yes, make it quick.
Quick. First, the only two people or the only two organs of the parties that have really saved the party when things are not right are two. The first is veterans. This example, I think I've used it again and again. Allow me to put it again this morning. When things were not working in ANC in South Africa, it was the youths then led by Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Oliver Tambo, and other comrades who felt that we need to militarize ANC for them to attain independence from the apartheid regime. It was the youths. Okay. Again, I'll come to Tanzania here. In 2015, when things were not working out because we had Luasa who was corrupt, and now they wanted a new energy into the leadership of the CCM. Yeah. It was the veterans who stepped into that gap and saved the CCM. Today, ODM party from the ODM Youth League. That's why maybe you may find that, feel that I'm having a mixed reaction on either sides. We are feeling that the things can still be gotten right out from the functioning me and aligning me to individual.
And you're committed to that.
Exactly. This party is so big to us. This party can accommodate all of us. This party can have Edwin Sifuna in it, and have Junet in it, and have Babu in it, and Wanga in it, and move forward as a single entity of Raila Amolo Odinga.
Gentlemen, I want us to shift gears. No,
that's the only
we have
way
to shift gears.
that we can protect and advance the legacy of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. It's very important.
So Linda, so before we shift gears, you know, Jared is saying one important fact. And what he's forgetting, I'm not telling Kenyans that political parties are not important. Jared is a young person as I am, but he has lost faith. I told you he gave up too soon because he's a young man, yet he cannot rally up his fellow young people to form a political party. You've seen it happening in Uganda. In South Africa, Malema has EFF. In Uganda, Bobby Wine has NUP. But Jared is so convinced that he has to work within ODM.
And we all were expecting that during the Gen Z process, that the young ones would come up with the party, tell us.
And young people like me are saying, we cannot give up on this process.
Are you in the plans of forming a party that is going to spread?
It is still too soon, Linda, to give up. And I'm telling you, Linda, why I'm saying this is because so many Kenyans disagree with Jared on this one front. Jared is known to fight for people. But along the way, he said he is getting confused. He's filled with a lot of emotions. He doesn't know which Linda he needs to support. Because on one end, he says his party leader is Oburu Odinga, right?
He says his SG is...
Right?
Yes.
And Oburu Odinga is saying, my SG is Catherine Mayo. So what happens to Jared? What happens to the people that Jared is fronting to fight for?
But Jared acknowledges there's a problem within the ODM and it is their business to fix it.
Who is causing this problem? You know, when you're solving this problem, Linda, you have to go to the root cause. I told him before. I told him before.
And they're right at
yes,
the heart
he fell right into the trap.
Madam Producer, Mr. Director, let us shift gears to this conversation about goonism, tokenism. We have seen the bishops, arguing that we're in a bad state and that Kenya is veering off course amid violence and strain. And they're trying to say that, you know what, the political players, can you bring the house to order? Because then Kenya is a house for all of you people. And what saddens me is the fact that when we're talking about goonism, the unfortunate pictures that you get to see are pictures of young Kenyans that are used, from what it is that we have heard, or we've had, that these are Kenyans that are being paid so that they can propagate some of these ugly activities. We have listened to leaders speak of this matter, but the question is, how do we again get to arrest the cases of goonism in the country? Let's listen into what the leaders have to say, and then we come back, get the reactions, because we have seen a lot of ping pong and shifting blames happening in the country.
Two greeted me. I didn't see any danger until they started hitting me and saying, why are you supporting one term?
This one who must use goons to look like he's powerful. What are you trying to do? We've grown in these streets, and we know these streets. You will not finish us in these streets. We are smarter than you.
Goonism. We are still waiting to hear Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo amejiuzulu. We are waiting. The country is waiting. And by the way, Mr. William Ruto, if you think you can keep your Principal Secretary, who is in charge of internal security, supposed to guarantee the security of citizens and their leaders, and you are keeping them there, ukisema mutadu.
The unit that attacked us in Kiambu was not the local police. It is the same squad that attacked us in Wetima Church, a squad of 12 police officers, ambaye uchunguzi umefanywa, walionekana walitupiga Wetima. Kasongo amesema wasishtakiwe.
Mr. President, we want to tell you ya kwamba usipoziba ufa wahenga walisema utajenga ukuta. Unless you stop this dangerous path your government is taking, and promoting and actually protecting goons and using goonism as a tool of politics, you are putting this country in.
Even if you have a weevil in your head, how would you spend time planning to disrupt a meeting an elected leader is having with his people. Tuko na shida. I am telling you, tuko na shida. Kenya's problems have nothing to do with the people. They have everything to do with the average or mediocre leadership we have, incompetent management of the country. Evidence of state failure. Ukiangalia serikali ikienda namna hii, hapa sasa unaona tumeanza mwisho wa mambo. Eti unalipa watu kuja kukusikia. Zamani rais akiingia mahali, watu wanawacha kila kitu, wanaenda kusikia mkubwa wa nchi. Sasa siku hizi ni kulipwa. Tulipwe uende usikizwe.
There's action that is being taken, and of course I would want to wish him well. But the point is that everyone or any leader who uses goons for criminal purposes must just be held to account.
Kuna shida moja inadhuru sana taifa letu, na hiyo shida inatokana na viongozi wako na suit, wanakaa ofisi kubwa kubwa, wanataka vyeo kubwa kubwa, lakini kila siku wanapanga vijana walete vuruku kwa mikutano na walete vuruku katika taifa letu. And they are the quickest ones. Hao wanapanga goons, alafu quickly wanaenda kusimama hapo, wanataka waziri aondoke, tunataka PS aondoke, serikali imeshindwa. We must have a national consensus for all political leaders, regardless of their political direction, that we must denounce politics of violence.
Why are we being reminded that goonism is bad? Why is it that there's this shift of blame? Oh, it's government. Oh, it is them. You know, just planning goons and pretending that they have been targeted politically. Yeah.
Linda, you know, it's very sad. And I honestly don't want to blame any faction. I'm just saddened that we have to speak. They are now speaking. Both factions are now speaking loudly because a member of parliament was assaulted. Do you know how many Kenyans have been assaulted, Linda? And you see, this is what is wrong with this system, Linda. And I am totally disagreeing with both factions, whether it's united opposition or the government of the day. These are the leaders that have been there. They've been to this system. The element of goonism did not start with the government of the day. Did not start with the united opposition. These are the people who they have just shifted roles. It's very unfortunate that so many Kenyans here today have to face this reality. And unfortunately, I'm not in support of this element of goonism at all, because it's hurting Kenyans.
But why is it that we appear to be vulnerable?
Linda, let me tell you how worse it is. We have a sitting national police service. What the first motto, if you walk into a police station, it says Sheria kwa wote. What is happening to our institution of police service? Where is the IG in this? The Inspector General.
The intelligence.
Where is the intelligence
arrest
unit?
Before it happens.
Yes, because they know these people. Why are they not getting arrested and arraigned in court? It's the common Kenyan mwananchi who's suffering. And you know, it's very sad, Linda. You ask a very important question here. The young people are the helm of this goonism thing. Is it time that we reflect what is causing this element of incitation to be a goon? Is it the lack of employment? Is it the lack of resources? And how do we fix it? I think for 1 minute there, I want to agree with Jared. We need to focus more on how do we fix this element, because we are waking up a monster that we are not going to be able to control in the coming days. It's very dangerous.
And Jared, drums of war, because as he says, from Sharia kwa wote, it is Sharia mkononi. And sometimes even the police will tell you it becomes difficult to tame this without, shooting, because you can only tame, a crowd that is willing to be tamed. If they decide to go for you, on you, then how do you handle it as police and all that? And therefore brings in this confusion that we witness today. I speak to some individuals who tell me, unfortunately, and I am not the person to say this, but this even are you know, the messages that we're receiving right now in terms of feedback. 2020, 2007, 2008, zilianza tu hivi before we knew it.
Yeah.
We knew where we were.
Linda, first, it is good that Senator Sotsi, who was also our DPL, have healed, you have recovered.
But why are you saying he was your DPL and you're not saying SG was your, but anyway, SG and Deputy Party is different, okay.
You have recovered, we thank God. It's unfortunate. Today I've used the term unfortunate. When we took our police officers to Haiti, we didn't took them there for benchmark. And it is a bad precedence that after the Haiti mission, we have seen the rise of goonism in our nation to a point that the leaders were protected by the police officers. The leaders who are licensed gun owners can be attacked in broad daylight in a city. I think it is putting us in bad limelight for the investors, for business people, and those even tourists who may be interested in coming into Kenya. The reason why I'm saying that we didn't go to Haiti for benchmark to have goons raid and parade themselves in daylight, in cameras, and nothing's being done to them. It's unfortunate for us as a country. And I think we remember when you look to the ones who attacked Senator Osotsi, they were 17. And then they arrest 3, leaving 14. Where are these 14? What if they are mutating and training more other to attack other individuals, not only leaders, but citizens of our country? Where we are, the reason why you are asking, why are we vulnerable? A number of them are youths. These youths, they're getting vulnerable. This one person is having, he need to pay rent. He need to pay school fee. He need to feed himself. He need to move around. He need to wear. He need to be clothed. And the government and the state, not only this one for Kenya Kwanza and UDA, but even the ones which have been there, deliberately failed to create opportunities and empower these individuals. And that's why at some point we question ourselves, over some government projects like Nyota, are they sustainable and they transformative to the lives and the demographic of the youth of our country? These people, a number of them, I'll tell you, they are schooled, they are not dumb. These people are graduates. These people hold certificates, but there are no job opportunities in the country because there's no country that can revolutionize its economy without proper industrialization plan. I think for the record, we all remember that today in Kenya, as we are saying, that we import even sugar, and remember, around Lake Victoria and Western is sugar belt. And why do we still having sugar scam being imported? Because we have deliberately killed our industrial chains of production. Not only on sugar, go to the cotton, go to the value added to the industry that were adding value to our products. This is why these young people are not engaged. Nimesikiza hapo Dr. Fred Matenge akisema, today you find these people are being paid to go to the rally because they are idling around, they're doing nothing. So that 500, 1,000, 2,000 means a lot to them, to sustain them maybe for a day or two, which is unfortunate for us. Us mitigating this is getting these young people engaged. It comes back to the accountable leadership. If you have leadership that is accountable, I'm pretty sure they'll have solution. We need solution-oriented leadership at the helm of our country. We need to create a good example. Let me use these 2 examples. I'm coming from a cultural background. If we modernize and empower cultural sector, I think that is enough to transform our economy. We'll be able to have our industries running. We'll be able to engage more young people. And yesterday when I was listening to one of our leaders and principals who was saying that if you're not going to be able to engage these young people, then it will be getting worse. Because at the end of the day, I need to have my life running day in, day out. And that's why we find ourselves vulnerable. But now, what do we do? You have asked about the
but
police.
Even before, what do we do? Because reality is that unemployment has been an issue for a long time. I doubt there's a president who's come to power without a manifesto that speaks to unemployment. It is a problem that is there across the globe. Is that a justification for people to get intolerant?
That shouldn't be a justification. There's one that, before I come to maybe the justification that unemployment, there's one that Nick have mentioned on usalama kwa wote, the police force. In paper, and on paper, they say that is a police service. But in reality, we don't have police service in the country. We still have the police force. And that's why at some point we have been asking ourselves, do we have a workable Kiganjo syllabus that need to be revised? Are they being trained to know how to handle the people and also even do investigation? And that's at some point we ask ourselves, well, why does it take long to get the perpetrators, like the ones that attacked St. Osotsi, on board? Are they not sufficiently trained? And again, we have also seen how they handle the masses during the, I'll say during the mass action, the protest. Do we question our Kiganjo? But again, we ask ourselves again, because we remember the most recent one was done by Chief Justice Emeritus Maraga on the police reforms. Was it another paper put some on the self-collecting dust without implementation? Now, if you ask about maybe the jobs and unemployment, I'll speak about Kenya. Not Uganda, not Tanzania, not Ethiopia. Today, Nick will tell us here that we export 90% of our consumption in the country. We have not industrialized, but immediately we get ourselves industrialized, we shall have solved the problem of job, unemployment and job opportunities. We are not going to get these people absorbed into the industries, into the economy, into the corporate, if you're not going to industrialize our economy. That, for me, that is very important.
Industrialization still, and I know we come to you because those are solutions that you're giving, but we'd also love to hear from him, weigh in on what you've said, but largely also on whether this is a justification.
Linda, I'm coming from a region, and we have faced this. Let me just tell Kenyans or remind Kenyans.
Yeah.
In the early 1980s, a militant group was formed in the Rift Valley called Mungiki. The main aim was to protect their land from the sitting government. That was during Moi's era. Sooner or later, this gang evolved. It became lethal, that they will extort their own people, other Kenyans, and they will kill.
This is in Central. And then, of course, yes, in your region.
It became so organized that it became unstoppable. Why it not for the former Minister for Security, John Michuki, in the early 2000s, this country will be in a mess. And, you know, I'm also a love of history. Another group from Coast, if you remember your history very well, the test parameter was if you're able to say Shilingi. If you're not able to say Shilingi, then you're not from that area, not within that locale. Our people also suffered the most from that kind of militant. So, Linda, I want you to imagine, we are going to an era whereby this goonism has been reactivated due to politics. Politics will come and go. Politics will come and go. That is what we agree, me and Jared here today. 2027 will come and go. But what happens in 2028, where there's no that handout? These people will reorganize again and start extorting Kenyans. Linda, I will tell you how dangerous it is. When you as a common mwananchi go into a matatu and this organized group come into that matatu and attack you. That is the danger if we continue sustaining this element of goonism. And you know, it is very sad. I want to speak to young people. Let us not fall short of this trap. Let us not fall short. Because, Linda, I will tell you, from histories of our people, a lot of young mothers buried, a lot of not young mothers, a lot of mothers, they buried their sons, because ideally when you talk about goonism, ideally again, it is young men who are thrown into that element. There are just very few young women who are thrown into the element of goonism. I don't want to cause aspersions of gender here and there, but I'm advising our brothers. Our mothers have lost sons because of element of goonism. Let us not take our parents through that torment, regardless of the situation, whether we have employment or not. Whether the situation is tough, because right now, it's tough everywhere. It's tough on Jared, it's tough on Linda, it's tough on Nick. But let us not fall short of that element of goonism, because the price is too heavy. Because sooner or later, Linda, the law will catch up. The law will hunt those young people who are now purported to be used in the element of goonism.
Yeah.
So one of the solutions that I am thinking we need to mandate, in as much as we want to empower the National Police Service, because ideally, in as much as we say, because the mentality we have as Kenyans, kazi ya polisi ni to kushika hawa watu. But once they are taken, once they are arrested, they are taken to court. Let us amplify the powers of the court and speedify the process of justice.
Right.
Because once we have that, apart from providing jobs, if we amplify that element, I'm telling you, we will kill that element of goonism.
Right. Yes, your solutions as we close.
Okay. On the...
Yeah, you were offering, so you were saying that this is what you recommend. You had mentioned some.
So this... We're closing.
Yes, as we sum it up, because we only have a minute or two.
Okay, I think on my end, I think mitigating goonship is just having these young people engaged. That's very important. But allow me to add my voice on what happened yesterday in South Africa to the EFF leader, and that is Comrade CIC Malema. I think the African sovereignty is at stake, at trial. The racist AfriForum and maybe the DA, they are trying to silence the voices of reason. And I think Malema is one of the outstanding, tall opposition leaders that you have in the continent. We believe strongly that justice at long last will prevail and the voices of reason will be respected. We stand in solidarity with Comrade Julius Malema in South Africa, EFF leader. I think it's also very
He was sentenced to 5 years, and then you could see the smile because he knew he was not going to go to...
Exactly.
So yeah.
So that's where it comes that the power of the people is the greatest power after the God's power. I think it's also very important for us to note from the party I'm coming from that we believe strongly that this party is in good shape and a good position to form the next government. If we can't find a good working relationship with maybe other political parties and other political players, ODM as political party itself is a force. And in the longest time that we have been around, we have always shaped not only the conversation but the political direction of the country.
Interesting. I can only give you 30 seconds.
That's not fair, Linda.
It is fair because
you gave him 2 minutes.
8. Proceed. It's like as good as...
So, Linda, quickly, Jared is forgetting one important element. One, young Kenyans are still registering for voter registration. Yeah, sure. That's a good thing. Let us do it more.
Yeah.
Because how to make change is not actually through parties, it's through our voter card. That's how we get good leaders. So I want to recommend young people for that good job. Let us do it more. Two, I advise Jared, let him go and decide who is their party leader. And when they decide, because I know he has already decided, let him remove the other de facto party leader, because otherwise ODM will be a mess. Lastly, what happened to Malema? I don't agree with Jared on this front. Whether you are fighting for the people or not, let us do it under the law.
Right.
Whether you are a political leader, that's why we're coming in. The law is clear. The law is clear. And to me, it gives me a lot of hope for the people of South Africa and also for the people of Kenya that whether you're a political leader, a jail sentence will be served.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Interesting. Gentlemen, thank you so much for the great insights. Clearly, the future is bright when you have great minds, that are focused towards making the country better. Nick Mwangi, political analyst, thank you so much for speaking to us, as well as Jared Oye, who's an ODM Youth League member. Asante sana for your great insights. My name is Linda Alela. It is now time to shift gears as we pave way for none other than Bansi for a Feel Good Friday. DJ Blue 254 is also on stage, and we'll also be having a guest artist, Lexil, for a moment to enjoy even as we usher in the weekend. Do have yourself a beautiful one and stay blessed.
Azam TV, your favorite pay TV, just got even better. Effective 1st March 2026, we have added 5 amazing